With this workflow, you can write with AI and automatically post blogs to your WordPress website that includes internal links naturally placed throughout the document for your other blogs, your specific call to action and offers, as well as a cover image generated by OpenAI's Image 1 model that all gets downloaded with excerpts, slugs, tags, and more directly onto WordPress for your new post. As always, you can download this N8N workflow for free from my free school community, where we give away over 30 different business-focused workflows ranging from social media posting bots, executive assistants, lead and email scrapers, and more, with new free workflows coming out every week, along with tutorial videos, how-to guides, and a community of automation-focused business owners all looking to collaborate and grow their businesses with AI-powered automations. You can also join our advanced community for weekly tech support calls, marketing and business growth discussions, as well as getting to pick my brain on N8N, AI automations, or business in general. All right, and let's take a look and see how this actually works. Let's come over to my WordPress blog real quick. I'll refresh the page, and boom, there it is. I am recording this at 11:30 a.m., so this got uploaded here to 11:29, perfect. Let's go ahead and take a look. You'll notice it's a draft, and I set it to draft. It could have published, but I set it to draft to be able to show you this. And so here we've got our post. All right, this looks all right. It's got links. Automate your client onboarding. Yeah, okay. We've got deploy niche automations, so that's a different link. Good. All right, nice little blog. We got training a smart digital intern from day 1. And down there's a different blog. Okay, and down here, future coworkers, bots, meanings. That's a different blog as well. And down here, we've got my link to my free school community. Yeah, let's come over here to publish real quick. Let's check out tags. Comes automatically tagged. Perfect. And that's good. Let me see here. So I don't see the picture, but if I publish this, let's go ahead and hold on, publish, and close that. Come back here. And let's see, how do I actually, let's check out the link. So I come here, this should come to my blog, and got a nice little image, adaptive AI workflow. Traditionally, it's even got words in the image as well. Look at that. So we click that, and yeah, there is my blog. So it worked perfectly. Okay, so the way this works is actually pretty simple. I know there's a lot here, but there's not actually all that much going on. I will go through it. I'm going to go through it kind of quick, just because none of this is like particularly complicated. Each thing does one little thing. But we're start off with a trigger node. So we got a trigger node here. You can set this to whatever daytime that you want. I have mine set at 10:30 a.m. to fire. It's going to check a spreadsheet, and I'll give you the spreadsheet as well. And it comes over here and it checks this spreadsheet here that I just call, I call it blog topics, no YouTube. But you can call it whatever you want and just hook it up. So what it's doing is it's checking for, well, technically it's pulling all of my potential blogs. So I have my past blogs in here, and I got my future blogs coming up. And what we're doing is we're pulling all that information. It's then checking if the date to publish matches today's date in this format. So the year, month, day. So there's only one that matches today's date. So this one right here. All right, how agentic workflows are replacing traditional automation. And so we see that only one of them comes through, how agentic workflows are replacing traditional automation. All right, and I have the set is not equal to. I mean, technically, I guess you could set it is equal to, but I have it set is not equal to because I wanted it to come up to get it out of the way. That's all. That's the only reason why. And so I have it set to the false version instead. And what we do is we bring it through here. We limit it to 1. And we limit it to 1 just in case you accidentally have another blog in here. So generally speaking, you only do 1 blog a day. But I have it set to have this limit it to just 1. Now, if you have multiple blogs, then you may want another if node here with some sort of marker indicating here at the end whether the blog has been written, that you would end, or you would write at the end, or you add to the end of the workflow here. So you maybe might add an extra Google Sheets node to update this Google Sheet with a add to that particular row that this one has been done already. And then if it checks it again, it'll then skip the one that says done and then do the second one. But the limit's just there to make sure it only does one at a time. Okay, we then run it through this edit fields node. This edit field node is where we're establishing kind of all of our baseline stuff that's coming out of our Google Sheets. And so our website is our website that got pulled through. Our search phrase is the topic that the blog is being written about. So we call it search phrase here. Category ID is the category ID of the blog for your site. Okay, so if you come over here, and again, this is all being done in WordPress. So if you come over to all posts or to post, you'll see all posts, add post, categories. Click on categories. You hover over this down in the bottom left corner. So like down here, you'll see it says taxonomy, category, and tag ID. That equals number. That's your category ID number. So you want to pull that as well. And so let's come back here. All right, so we're setting our category ID, and we do have that put into the spreadsheet. So I marked it down for myself for my blogs, and I have to match it up. What I do is I just have ChatGPT match it up after I've come up with all the ideas, and then it matches it, and I just copy and paste it in. So again, the category ID, the author ID. So you want your name or your ID if you have an ID. I'm the only person who posts on my blog, so I only have one author. That's me, and so I just made sure it matches what's written in WordPress. The word count would be the word count coming from the spreadsheet. The number of chapters would be the number of chapters that you have here in right here. So number of sections that you want to be in your blog. All right, then we have in the style of, you can choose to have this write in somebody else's style if you want. You can always get rid of this, but I like Frank Kern. I like his way of writing. I like that he's kind of approachable. It's a nice, easygoing, kind of just lackadaisical style. Considering who he is, that makes sense. And so I have my blogs written in the style of Frank Kern. If you like Dan Kennedy, you can have him write it as Dan Kennedy or whoever else you want it to. Grant Cardone. Whatever guru you choose to follow in your space, you can have it right in their style. All right, we have a call to action URL as well as the customer offer. So all of that is, again, it's just added here into the spreadsheet. So my call to action URL, this would be my school community where I want people to go to download free workflows. And I have an offer. So if you want to learn more about it, here is what you do. It's what you get on all that. And I just make sure that's all put in here as well. All right, so all of that is then set here in the set field node. And then we get passed on next to this HTTP request node, which is actually going to go to our WordPress site. So we're pulling from our WordPress site. Now, mine is actually hosted on WordPress. So if you come back here to the spreadsheet, let's lift this up real quick. If you see here, I had to put my WordPress domain in here in order to be able to get this to work right. You may not be hosting yours on WordPress, in which case it would just be yourdomainname.com. So just be aware of that. All right, but here we do an HTTPS and your website /sitemap.xml. Preferably you have a sitemap. Hopefully you've set that up. If you have not set up a sitemap for WordPress, Google it. It was really, really quick. I remember doing it. It took like 2 minutes to get done. So don't stress out too much about how to do it. Just go Google it real quick if you don't have it set up yet. And then response format is a string, property name is data, and that's how we want to pass this information on. We're getting this XML information coming back from WordPress. We're going to pass that into this extract from XML node. So we're going to extract XML to JSON. The property that we're passing is data. So it's passing from here, data. All right, and we're going to pass it and turn it into a JSON output. And that's all of this over here. Okay. And then that gets turned into or passed through the split node, which is splitting out the URL set.url. So that's this thing up here, this top level, .url. This is all this. So it's going to pull all of the URLs that it finds on the sitemap. It's going to pull all of them out. And that's the only thing we're pulling. So it's going to get 20 items from my website because I've got 20 items or 20 blogs that have been posted so far. We then aggregate that all into a single field. All right, and what we're doing is we're grabbing only the LOC, the location LOC here. And we're going to rename it. I'm renaming it the blog URL list. So then it's going to create one list, one JSON output with all of these items. All those items then get passed over to this set node, which turns all of that array into a string. And we're turning it into a string because strings are what AI agents are able to read. They're not able to read arrays. So we're just going to pass it in here real quick, turn it into one big string of URLs that's then going to get passed to the AI agents. Next, we then create a Google document. And so if you don't yet have your Google Docs credentials set up, I have a link in the description below on how to do that. But what we're going to do is we're going to do a resource of document. Operation is create. We're going to create in my drive. And if whatever your drive is called, that's the one I'm creating in. And I'm creating it in the top level folder called, for me, it's AI projects. Now, you're not able to create documents from a create node directly in a folder that you want. You're only allowed to do it in top level folders of your drive. And so I'm going to create it here in the top level folder, and then I'm going to move it using another node in a second to where I actually want it to be held. But I'm creating a document titled, and it's going to be titled that blog name that we're doing from way down here, the pull from blog topics spreadsheet. And it's the search phrase, okay, the thing that we're making this blog about. And we're stripping out any extra marks that might accidentally cause the file name to not work, like colons or question marks or ampersands or anything like that. Just strip all that out, and then we just call it blog draft. And so you see it's how agentic workflows are replacing traditional automation, blog draft, and that's what it's making. We're then going to use this Google Drive node. Again, if you don't have Google Drive set up, I've got the video in the link below on how to set up those credentials. Resource is file, operation is move. The file that we're moving is the ID from the Google Doc we just created. All right, so grab that, just drag that over, put that in there. And we're going to move it into the parent folder is my drive. That's the top level of the drive that I have. And then into the actual folder. I don't know why it's called parent folder, but it's the folder that you want to put into. So I'm putting mine into something called blog drafts. And so here we'll see the one that I just made. It's put into there right there. Okay, and then we move that. So then we actually go into the actual process of writing the blog. And so I have this one AI agent here that's going to get us set up for the rest of the process. We're then going to run it through the process of writing the sections of the blog. We're going to put it all together into one spreadsheet that's then going to be able to actually be turned into HTML to then be put onto the website. And then we write the conclusion and the introduction. Then we actually merge it all together and then put it onto the blog. So this guy here is kind of the first step in creating all of that process. So let's go ahead and go into it. It's just an AI agent. You know, you want to set up your AI, your node. I'm using GPT 4.1, not mini. I actually do want it to do a good job here. So 4.1. If you don't have your OpenAI credentials set up yet, I got a link in the description below for that as well. Go ahead and watch that video and you'll be able to see how to do that. So what this agent does is all it's getting is the name of my blog topic that I pulled from the spreadsheet. And we're running it through the system prompt. It's a pretty comprehensive prompt. So what it's going to do is it's going to write a title, a subtitle, the section details, the introduction prompt, the conclusion prompt, a Google excerpt for the whole thing, an image prompt for the image that we're going to generate. It's all going to be based off of the blog topic. All right, and now for the blog, based on the blog title, we also need to create the 3 to 5 word URL slug. All right, it must not contain it must contain one or more of the phrases found in that search topic, the topic for the blog that we put into the spreadsheet. Don't include any pretext, just the URL slug. It also needs to create a call to action if there's not already one there. If one is indicated, to create a call to action for the reader using the link and insert this into the final section. All right, it will do that later. If one's indicated, we need to weave the offer as well. That all gets added in as well somewhere else. I don't even know if I actually still need this. This is kind of a holdover from how my bot was originally set up. I'm just afraid to delete stuff just in case it breaks it. Based on the blog article, we're also going to create the Google meta description. So we give it some constraints on how to do that. We give it the general instructions on what it's doing. It's going to be writing in the style of. It's going to be creating the title, the subtitle, the introduction, the Google excerpt, the slug, the Google meta description, the introduction prompt, and the conclusion prompt. And all of that needs to get put into a single JSON that gets output. Okay. And then we also we give it some instructions on how to actually create some of this stuff. So here's our title instructions, our image prompt. So here I have mine in these braces. You can change yours if you want. If you don't want yours to be photorealistic, you would change that in here as well. Otherwise, it's going to try to create something photorealistic. When we get to the AI agent that makes the image, you want to change it there too. All right, and so here's the image prompt. We give it the instructions how to create it, aspect ratio of 16:9, and then just moving on. All right, so it's section instructions. So there should be so this number of instructions that's pulled from the spreadsheet, or sections, 4 number of sections I meant to say. I'm talking fast. So it needs to create a number of sections, and that's pulled from the spreadsheet right there. All right, and for each, it needs to create a title and a prompt for that section. And so it needs to create that in a part of the JSON called sections, and it needs to make an item called section number, title, and prompt. Those are the 3 items that needs in that object. The section should follow a logical flow and not repeat the same concepts. They should be related, not isolated. And don't start the sections with the prompts with section 1, section 2, section 3. Just write the title of the section. All right, and then for the title, don't use colons, and for the sections, don't use colons. For the text, use HTML for formatting. I actually don't think it needs to worry about that now that I really think about it, because it's not the one writing these sections. But in the instructions for the prompt, it needs to make sure it includes HTML for formatting. And then go deep into the detail. Don't just be superficial. And then we have this JSON output sample. And so, title, subtitle, introduction, Google excerpt, slug, Google meta description, conclusion, image prompt, and then sections, which is an array of objects with section number, title, and prompt. And each field must contain unique, high-quality content based on the topic for the blog. All right, and all of that gets put through this output parser that makes this example here. And so you'll see, got my title, subtitle, introduction, Google excerpt, slug, Google meta description, conclusion, the image prompt, the sections, which has the section number, title, and prompt. And we include some number of those. All right. And then all of that then gets passed through this if node. This if node is checking to make sure that everything was generated by the bot. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes here and there, the AI agent just makes something that doesn't quite work. I don't know why, but it does. And in case it makes something that didn't come out correctly, I don't want it to make the blog in that situation. Instead, I'd rather it just error and let me know, because I have another workflow to let me know when something errors. So that, like, if it only made 3 sections but no title, it's not going to work right. It's not going to be able to post to WordPress if there's no title. So I need it to error first before we ever go through the process of spending all the money on the tokens of writing this thing. All right, so what we do is we pass all of that stuff into a split out chapters node. All right, and so we're going to take our output.sections and we're going to output them into individual items that then get passed through this loop. In this loop, what we're going to do is we first do a set field node. I like doing a set field node right after a loop just to make sure everything is locked in right at the front of the loop, so it's inside of the loop. I don't have to worry about trying to call anything from outside of the loop. In case for some reason maybe I needed to add a code or an aggregator somewhere in a node, I always just add a set field node right after a loop just to make it there. So I take all that information, our section number, our section title, section prompt, the blog title, and the search topic, which was originally pulled from the spreadsheet. We bring it all right into here, and that just has all that information here. So the 3 things that we got from our what was it? The first AI agent that made the prompts. So section number, the title, and the prompt. There they are. We're also grabbing the title of the whole blog and that search topic, the thing that we asked it to make a blog about in the first place. And we're just going to pass all that over to the AI agent. We're then going to pull any information from our Google Sheet, or not Sheet, our Google Doc that we created right here. And so I did this in order to be able to pass the blog draft to the agent as it is dynamically making it. Okay, so section 1 is not going to have any draft. There's none of the sections have been written yet. But when section 2 comes up, section 1's already been written. So I'm going to pass section 1 when it's writing section 2 so that it doesn't repeat anything, it doesn't create the same content, that it can naturally flow to the next section. And the same with section 3. When section 3 comes around, it's going to grab the first section and the second section because it's all going to be right within that Google Doc. All right, and so what we're doing is just a Google Doc resource document get. We're getting the document based on the Google Doc ID. I set this to first just in case something gets in the way. And then it's going to output each time all of the ongoing draft for this blog to the AI agent who's going to write the section. So the AI agent is going to get, first it's being asked to write a section for this article, and it's just a prompt here just because I needed something. Everything else is in the system prompt. But write a section for this article, and it's the article that we're writing about pulled from the spreadsheet. Now it's coming to the system prompt because this is where all the meat and potatoes of this is. So your professional blog writer tasked with crafting a detailed, coherent, HTML formatted section of a long form article. Here is the title of the article. It's pulled from the prompts and outlines. All right, I guess I could have pulled it from the edit fields, but I did it here. So focused on the topic of the search phrase in the style of originally what we had in our edit fields 1 node, which is way up here. All right, back down here. And then we're based on the following section prompt, and that is being pulled from that new set field node we just made, the section prompt. This section is titled, and then title of that section. And here's our chain of thought. It needs to understand the inputs, needs to identify the context, and then we actually give it the blog. We give it to all of those other sections of the blog that have been written. And so we'll see down here, it gives it all right here. So it gives it the whole thing to it up front in the system prompt. So it understands that it is making this this blog with this context of what has already been written. So it doesn't repeat anything. It doesn't duplicate any links. We just make sure that nothing gets copied again. Because I've seen plenty of blog generators that make section 1 and section 2 sounds exactly the same. And section 3 sounds exactly the same because the AI agent wasn't given enough context to be able to do this right. Okay, so we give it the whole thing. All right, it needs to integrate a blog link from our blog link list that we've pulled originally. It needs to scan each URL's title and select one that seems like it adds additional nuance or perspective or technique based on what section is currently being written about in this blog. All right, it needs to try to embed it in mid-link or mid-paragraph rather than at the end. So it needs to kind of weave it in naturally so that it sounds like it made sense for this link to be put there. Never label the links like, oh, this is a case study on, because this AI agent doesn't know what these blogs are actually about. It's not actually pulling the blogs. It's only pulling the slug for the blog. And so it kind of gets the top level of what it's about, but it doesn't actually know if there is a case study, a playbook, a guide, a walkthrough, a sample or example. Otherwise, it'll hallucinate. So you have to give it the instruction not to hallucinate. All right, if no blog link fits, just don't include one. All right, and so here's some natural linking rules. Don't announce it like, check out this blog on. No, I want it naturally in there. Don't label it as a resource, a guide, or a case study. Don't copy the link verbatim. Just weave it in naturally. Here's some examples. So you can automate onboarding without lifting a finger, or launch workflows in minutes, but these are bad examples. In this blog or in this guide or see more here, no one's going to read those because it sounds like you're just pushing a link rather than it just being part of it. All right, it should sound like a part of the sentence, not an add-on. And then needs to build the sections using HTML, so paragraphs, unordered list, ordered lists, lists of various types, breaks, bolds, italics. All right, those are the only ones it's allowed to use. It needs to avoid generic intros and conclusion structures. There's no point in adding those because this is the middle of a blog. We don't want it to start off with, well, in this section, we're going to talk. No, none of that matters. So write clearly, concisely, and uniquely each section. They must feel distinct. Write sentences under 20 words where possible. So nice short sentences. We don't want anybody having these huge run-on sentences. Insert the links naturally where it makes semantic sense. Treat it as part of the sentence, not an afterthought. Our output requirements are HTML only. The length should be, and I have this kind of math formula here. I'm using JavaScript to come up with a math formula. So what we're doing is we're taking the word count from here, so 1,000 in this case. So that number minus 120, and I guess it could be 150, it could be longer, and then I am dividing it by the number of sections that we're asking to have. So divided by that. So if we do 1,000 minus 120, that comes out to 880. Divided by 4 gives us 220. There we go. Gave me a right number, right? So it does the math for me to tell it how long this should be. We tell it the style of who we want it to write as. That's pulled again from the spreadsheet. The tone should be grounded, specific, informative. Whatever you want the tone to be, you can change this. The flow is continuation only. No headings, no wrap-ups, just write as if this is just part of something. All right, what not to do, don't label blogs incorrectly, don't repeat anything, don't stick links in at the end, don't announce links, don't include headings or markdown or JSON, don't repeat structure from earlier sections, don't say something like in today's world or with the rise of or any of those cliches that AI loves to do. And don't mention any products or services. Now, if you were trying to do like some sort of affiliate links for your blog, I'd remove that. You'd have to change the structure a little bit. I think what I'll do is I'll do a version of this someday for affiliate linking by making blogs doing that. But this blog is designed not to have affiliate links necessarily. It'll have one link at the end for some sort of offer that your company or business does. So just keep that in mind. Pure HTML, all right? No explanation or wrapper text. We then pass that to the Google Doc. Same process. We're doing a resource document operation update using the document's ID number. We're going to just insert it into the document at the end. And so we just paste it there. We come down a couple lines, add some of these asterisks, and then a couple lines just to be able to separate it so the next time it comes through, it sees each section individually. We then do an edit fields node to kind of finalize all of the information that we got one more time. So we got our blog titles and blog content for that section and our prompt. And so kind of, oopsie. No. Yeah, okay, there. Accidentally click on stuff. So the section content is what we need to pass out of the out of the loop. And in order to make sure that it gets passed correctly, I do the set field here at the end. It includes all the information, including the section number. That way, when the loop ends, it all gets put into this code node here. And this code node will take all of the items from the loop. It's going to take all of them into one process, figure out what section number comes first. So section 1, section content. Section 2, that section's content. Section 3. And so it's going to output all of that stuff in one big list here. So section 1, section 2, section 3, section 4 as one item that is now properly structured that can then be put into this Google Sheets node. And so we come back over here to our spreadsheet. I have another sheet here called blog sections that it then puts all of this information into one bit at a time. All right. And the reason I do that is so that this information can now be passed properly to the next sections, which are going to write to the introduction, the conclusion, and then compile everything as one HTML. So we're using this as a method of sorting the information one more time, but slightly differently than using the Google Doc, which was just kind of a dumping ground for the section body. All right, so what we're doing is resource, sheet within document, and then operation is append. The document is the same document that we had over here. The sheet is the new sheet I just showed you. All right. And then the values that we're sending are, we're going to do date to publish, which is, we're going to do this code right here, today.format, using year, or 4 Ys, 2 capital M's, and then 2 lowercase d's. That gets us year, month, date. It's going to create that right there. Boom. Oopsie, not that one. All right. And then we're going to copy and so we dragged over these sections from the code node. We're going to put them into each of the columns. So section 1 title, the section 1 content, section 2 title, section 2 content, and so on and so forth. And you'll notice I actually have additional sections, and that's in case you want 5, 6, 7 sections on your blog. Maybe you wanted like a 1,500 or a 2,000 word blog. You can do that. Just be aware that I only have it up to 7 sections. If you wanted more, then you'll need to come over here and you'll need to like add extra columns for your spreadsheet. All right, but these are red because I only had 4 sections, so therefore they don't exist. If I had 7 sections, all of these would be green with all of their associated information attached to them. All right, we're not putting anything into the introduction. We're not putting anything into the conclusion because we haven't written those yet. We're just going to put all that information into the spreadsheet. All right, now, once all that information is in the spreadsheet, we're going to pull all that information out of the spreadsheet that we just put in there. Why? Just to be able to have it all in one nice ordered operation, one nice little list here. Because if you noticed, if I come over here to what we put in when we appended it, we have section 1, section 1, section 4, section 3, section 2, section 4, section 3, section 2. It didn't exactly put it in order. I don't like things not in order, so I'm going to just go ahead and pull that spreadsheet one more time. We're doing a get rows operation from the same document, from the same sheet. We're going to filter based on the date to publish column using that same code that we put the date in. We're just going to use it to extract the date now. It's going to give me one blog. There we go. And we see that my section 5, 6, 7 is all empty. So is my conclusion and my introduction. All right, they just haven't been written yet. And so we're going to take all that information, we're going to put it into another AI agent that is then going to write us our introduction. So this one, we are passing the introduction prompt that we made way back here in this prompts and outlines bot. We're going to pass our blog body, which is all of our sections of content that we're getting from our Google Sheets. So we're passing all 7 of those sections. And then we're going to have it write to the blog. So it's a high conversion blog introduction writer trained to craft short, enthusiastic HTML formatted introductions. All right, it needs to intrigue the reader without giving it away, establish why it's worth reading, creates a desire to keep reading, and feels fluid. All right, we're outputting in HTML only. It's going to only be wrapped in these P tags. Don't include any other titles or sections or labels. No more than 60 words. You can up that if you want. No line breaks, no markdown, no section headings. That must be written naturally, no lists or anything like that. We give it this chain of thought to how to process all this information. We give it some what nots to do. So nothing more than 60 words. Don't summarize the body. We don't want to do that. No buzzwords. Don't say in this article or you'll learn or anything like that. It needs to sound natural. So no sounding like a sales pitch or a corporate press release. And never end with a question. So then we give it some examples. And then pass that forward. That then gets uploaded back up into the Google Sheet. So same thing that we did before, same upload, except this time all we're putting in is in the introduction. Everything else is remaining the same. We then pull that, we then pull some more information from the blog input. So we're gonna come back over here. We're actually gonna pull now from here the call to action URL, which is down here. So from my blog, which blog did we do this today? This one here. So it's going to pull that URL. And that's the only point what it's doing. It's just pulling this one row in order for me to get the URL that we are going to be putting into the conclusion. So we're also going to pull all of the information from the blog sections sheet one more time. I'm going to pull all this one more time. And the reason for that is I want all of that data to come properly into the conclusion, which includes the introduction that we just read. So I'd rather, instead of having to link back to, to write the introduction bot and link back to over here, just make it a .json, just pull from the sheet one more time. It doesn't hurt. So I'll come in here, So same thing that we saw before, same spreadsheet, same date to publish that we're pulling based on the date. So here in our write the conclusion AI agent, we give it the conclusion prompt. We give it the body of the blog, which now includes the introduction, which was not there before, as well as all the content again. We're also going to give it the offer URL. So here in our system prompt, you're a high conversion blog conclusion writer trained to craft satisfying HTML formatted conclusions. Now let me see, did I give it the call to action URL? And the, I forgot this one, and the offer. We also give it the offer as well. That was from the spreadsheet over here. We'll give it all of that. All right, it takes all of that. It offers a natural feeling of closure and satisfaction. It reinforces the reader's time was well spent. It needs to tie the themes discussed together without summarizing it all. It ends on an energizing or thoughtful note that encourages reflection or action. And it needs to seamlessly include the offer in the call to action. We need to offer something in our blogs. This is all stuff we're trying to sell stuff, right? All right, so it does it in HTML, p tags, all the same stuff we saw in their introduction. Same chain of thought, except this one I have it a max of 150 words. So you see 150 words. And I do that because we're including the offer. We need enough room to include the offer. All right, and then what we do is what not to do's, the examples, and these are the inputs, and then here's our output. All right, it's going to write the conclusion, see right there. That then gets put into the spreadsheet one more time. I'm going to upload it way down here, upload the json.output into the conclusion section. All right, and then we do another pull info again. So we're going to pull all the info from that spreadsheet one more time. All right, so we're going to come back here from the blog section. It's going to grab all this information one more time. It includes the introduction, it includes the conclusion, it includes all the body sections. We then run it through this merge node right here that takes all of those different HTML sections, the introduction, the section 1, section 2, section 3, section 4, and our conclusion that's all written in HTML. It's then going to join the whole thing together. And it's going to take all this, and it's going to also add in the titles as well, puts it all together, and have a section, the conclusions will be called final words, and it's going to output one JSON called article that is our document. So it joins it all together. It includes extra breaks to make sure things are broken up correctly here. Those are the breaks. And that's our HTML file, so to speak, of what's going to be uploaded to WordPress. And at this point, the article has been written. It is now done being written. Its next point is to actually put it into the into WordPress. So one more time, we're going to pull the spreadsheet just one more time. Again, we're just going to, from the same sheet, our blog input, so which is this one over here. We're grabbing today's date, which is that. And the reason we're doing that this time is to actually grab this website link so that WordPress knows which website we're putting this in. Because you might have multiple WordPress blogs that you have. You can have this operate on all of them all at once, just so you know. Okay, so we're pulling that all again. We're going to do a set field. The set field is to identify the tags that I want in my blog. For you, you're going to have to go in and figure this one out yourself. The tags, this was a pain in the butt. So if you come over to your blog here, and you come over to your posts, tags, any tags that you've used for your blog before, you'll see them in here, okay? And if you hover over it, you'll see in that bottom left corner where the URL pops up at the bottom down there. So it's down right in here. It's right there. It says the post underscore tag and tag ID equals. Those are the numbers that you want to grab. You grab those numbers, you put them all into here in an array. So it starts with the braces and it's going to end with the brace at the end there. You put them all in, comma separated, no extra white space. Put all of the tags that you would want for all of your blogs in here. Now, I guess you could technically add an extra row or a column in the spreadsheet for this. Because my stuff is all the same, I just hard-coded it in. You could hard-code it. You could add a column and then just refer over and just drag it in. Just make sure that it comes in as an array, not a string. Okay? And so then what we do is we then use this OpenAI node. This one's actually going to generate the image that is going to be associated with our blog. So we've got our resource as image, operation is generate an image. The model is the GPT image 1 model. Now, in order to use this, you have to get your account verified. It was super simple for me. I just had to click the button that says verify, had to take a picture of myself, turn my head a couple times, and they verified me. I guess I had to take a picture of my driver's license too, but that was it. That's all the verification took. Now I'm allowed to use their higher end model. And so this prompt is nice and simple. Generate a high resolution, ultra realistic photographic image to be used as a cover image for the article titled, and here's that title that we had from our prompts and outlines bot. Use the following concept. Here's the prompt that bot made. And this image should look like a professional portrait or editorial photo with, and here I have photorealistic detail, natural lighting, and all this. If you want your stuff to look different, you're gonna have to change this section. But if you want photorealistic, leave it how it is. All right, I'm using a medium quality image of a resolution of 1536 by 1024, so that's gonna be landscape style, longer. And medium quality, as opposed to high quality, is incredibly cost effective. So I think it comes out to only like 4 cents per image, which is better than Dolly. Like Dolly's high-end images were like 12 cents each, and they didn't look very good. But this one, the medium quality images are fantastic. I mean, 4 cents is much better than 12. It's gonna output a file that you can download. What we're gonna do is we're then gonna take that image through this edit image node, where I'm gonna resize the image, because you'll notice it's 2.29 megabytes. That's huge. That'll slow down my website. I don't want that. So I'm gonna take that data property, or property name is data, because that's the file name here. And I'm just gonna reduce it to like 20% of its current size. So reduce it to 20 height, 20 width, or 20 width and 20 height. Option is percent, so just open that, percent. And then it's gonna just shrink my image to 20% of what it was. And now it's coming out at under 100 kilobytes, which is much better for a website image. I'm gonna then take that, I'm gonna upload the image to WordPress. Okay, I don't believe I have a video on how to do the WordPress credentials. I'll admit, it was not particularly easy for me to figure out. I don't use WordPress, it's not my thing. It was not particularly easy for me to figure out how to set up my credentials for WordPress and to get this to all work. So all I got to tell you is, if you can get your credentials set up and you can set this all up exactly how I have it, it will work. If you have any questions, I am not the guy to ask about WordPress, all right? So what we're doing is, this is an HTTP node, and we're doing a post method to this URL. So https://public-api.wordpress.com/wp/v2/sites/ and then I have the JavaScript for our website that we just pulled a couple nodes back, /media. You set up your credentials. The credential type is generic, OAuth 2, and then you create your OAuth 2 for your WordPress site. We're going to send headers. Our headers, the first one we're going to send is content-disposition. And you're going to write it out just like this: attachment, semicolon, space, file name equals, and then we're going to do the binary.data.file name, and then binary.data.file extension. All right, and that comes from this right over here. So file name, file extension. All right, and then our content, our next field is content-type, and that's going to be the binary.data.mime type, which is this here, which is a PNG image. We're also going to send the body content. We're going to have it as an N8N binary file that we're just calling data. You set it like that, it'll work. All right, it'll send the image to WordPress. It uploads the image to WordPress. We're then going to upload the metadata to the image that's now on WordPress. So if the URL is the same up to here, we're now just going to add this code here, which is the ID of the image that we just uploaded. So we just grabbed that and stuck it right in here. So ID. Same credentials, our body. So we're not doing a header this time. We're just going to do a body. JSON type using specific fields. Our first one is title. and we're going to call it the title that our AI agent made way back, the prompts and outlines agent. We're then going to have a slug that prompts and outline agent made as well. The alt text, we're going to call that, we're going to do this here, an image illustrating, and then we're going to use our title that our prompts and outlines agent made. Our caption is just our title again. And then our description is going to say, this image is about, and then that title. All right. All of that will cover you for your descriptions and your slugs and your captions and all the stuff for the image that's going to go on to WordPress. You got to make sure you have all that, because I don't know if most of you know this, but here in the United States, there's this thing called the Americans with Disabilities Act that says that websites that don't have descriptions on their images are in violation of the law. But I'm not an attorney, so maybe double check on that stuff. Hopefully you've all been aware of that. Otherwise, this will take care of it for you, or at least hopefully it should, assuming this is a proper description of what it is. Okay. We then have an HTML node. The HTML node uses this code right here that takes all that information that we've taken before. It's going to take the title from what our AI agent made for us, the prompts and outlines agent, the title that it made. It's then going to also take the article that got merged together by the code node, the merge article together node. And it's going to put it all together into one HTML document right here. So this is what it looks like in HTML. If you don't like this, if you want it to have a different background or the text different or padding's different or anything like that, you can do that all in here. So you can change your header colors and all of that, okay? And so that's what it's going to output for you. You then take all that, and now we're actually going to post the blog to WordPress finally. So here's what we're doing. So post method, HTML or HTTP node, post method, https://public-api.wordpress.com/wp/v2/sites/your website again /posts. You set up your credentials. Again, I'm not a WordPress guy. Don't ask me how to do that part. Send headers. We're going to turn that on. Content-type. And what we're sending is application/JSON. We're then going to do a body, JSON type, using fields. Our title is going to be the title of the blog that our one agent made, the prompts and outlines agent. The content is the content of the merged articles together code node. So it's going to take all the parts of the blog and put them together. Our slug is coming from our prompts and outlines agent. So that's just the .slug. And I have mine set to status draft. You can set this to status publish if you want it to automatically publish your blogs. I like to read them. I had this working for a while. The blogs weren't great, so I'm glad I had it set to draft, because I updated this bot since then. You guys are getting my my newest version of my blog writing bot, which is much better. So after a couple days, I'll set this to publish, and then it's just going to automatically publish it. I have my categories. I'm pulling that from my spreadsheet, and my tags, which I'm also pulling from the edit field node that I had set over here. All right. Okay, and so for this one, what we're doing, it's just another HTTP node. We're doing a post. The URL is the same as what we had before, except this time we're also adding the ID for the post that we just made. And what we're doing is same credentials, sending a body, and this is where we're going to add the excerpt for the blog post. All right, and so all we're doing is grabbing that from our prompts and outlines AI agent, and just attaching this excerpt to the post so that it now has the excerpt attached as well. And then finally, we're going to set the featured image. So again, same endpoint. This one looks a little longer. That's just because it's the ID for the post itself. We have to reach back and grab the post ID once more. We have our credentials, and then what we're going to do is have this body, which is featured_media, and we're going to grab the image ID that we did back here when we uploaded the image to WordPress. All right. I want to make sure I did that. Yeah. Update image metadata 1. Actually, so it's this node here, the update metadata 1. And it outputs the ID of the image. That's what we're updating. So it's setting the image to the blog. and now your blog is ready to post on WordPress if you set it to draft, or it's posted directly to WordPress. Everything is all set, good to go. Now you have an auto blogger, and you never have to worry about anything more than just creating new ideas in a spreadsheet over here actually. You just create new ideas, add up this information, change your category ID, change your offer if you want, and it is good to go. So as you can see, this workflow quickly and easily allows you to post your WordPress blogs with just an idea, with all the proper slugs, excerpts, titles, internal linking, and so much more. If you found this video helpful, please make sure to subscribe to the channel, like and share the video. It really does help get this out there to those who need it. If you want to download this workflow for free, it's available for free from my free school community. Just click the link in the description below and you can have it. I have a ton of other workflows. I have a ton of end-to-end tutorials. I'm just trying to help people learn how to be able to automate their businesses one bot at a time. I'm Bradford Carlton. Let's automate your success together.